Welcome back, family. And if you're new here, my name is Brittany, and I am a homemaking mama of 4 and a wife of 12 years. On today, I want to share with you this journey that I'm going through. Today, I want to talk to you all about the changes of season. Now, I'm not talking about the weather. I'm specifically talking about the changes that comes along with being a mom, wife, or a woman in general, trying to juggle life. One day, I was walking around my house, and I couldn't help but realize how different everything is now in my life compared to just a few months ago. If you're new here, I have 4 kids, with the oldest being 16 and the youngest 8 months. So between the sleepless nights with the newborn and trying to figure out the teenage years, of course, they all have their own ups and downs. But as I'm moving along through this journey, I realize it's all about the seasons we're in and how we navigate through them. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to rend and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. So what really made me notice that I was in a different season is when I was trying to study my scripture one day. And during that time, when the kids are awake as of now, instead of being able to read a few chapters, I can only read about a certain topic. And that's okay. As long as I get some kind of word in rather than none, I'm okay with that. But that's one thing that opened up my eyes to realize how different my season in life was, because I always like to read a little bit more than just a chapter. But now I am at just one topic, or if you could say just reading one section of a chapter. So that's what made me realize that I was in a different season. One of my most challenging changes is trying to balance everyone's needs, and before you ask, the answer is no. No, I don't have time for self-care, and I know I can't pour from an empty cup, but the reality is that I just don't have the time. I'm just hanging on by the grace and strength of God, because navigating through just the postpartum side of things in itself for me right now is a lot. I'm currently in the process of creating a new routine, as the previous routine no longer fits the season of my life, and I'm finding a new rhythm and understanding now that it's a different dance that I have to learn. I remember after struggling with infertility for so many years, that once we finally conceived and it was time for dinner, that I was so used to plating dinner for 4. I had gotten so used to my routine, and it still gets me to this day, now that I have to fix dinner for 5 instead of 4. Is it 4 or 6? 6. Now that I have to plate dinner for 6 instead of 4 now. You see, that's what I'm talking about, and I'm not going to edit this out. But in that struggle alone, it taught me a lot, and it gave me a lot of grit, and it also showed me that even when things don't look as promising as we would hope for, to hold on to God's promises and hold on to His word, because He is so faithful. In that time alone, when we struggled through infertility, that was one of the worst seasons of my life. It was very, I would say it was very traumatic for me, and I'm gonna just be open and honest and say it was very traumatic for me, because I was in nursing school, and I was in school full time. Actually, I didn't have a job or anything, and then my husband ended up losing his job, and then I had to go work while I was in nursing school. And I, to this day, I look back and I don't understand or know how I ended up surviving and getting through. I know it was just the grace of God, but there were days when I would leave school, from being at school at about 8 o'clock in the morning, to going straight to work and working that night shift, which was a 12-hour, 13-hour shift, and getting off that morning and heading right back to school. It was very hectic, and I also remember it was so stressful because I wouldn't get off in time to be able to see my kids off to school. So I wasn't able to do Vanna's hair. So her dad was doing her hair, so she was going to school looking crazy. But it was just so stressful, and that's one reason why we decided to homeschool instead of sending them back to regular private school. because things were so hectic. But that was one, looking back at it, it was very stressful. It was very hard. But I thank God, because I could have easily gave up and said, we're never going to have a baby. I give up, this, that, and the third. But I know all in all, it was God that kept us at the end of the day. And also, just me being able to get a job that provided enough to be able to pay the bills and take care of us for a little while. I know that it was only for a season, and I thank God that season is over and we're in a better place. So sometimes we don't realize when seasons are over and new ones start. They can also make us uncomfortable, but we must remember it's only for a season and it will all pass. I want to ask you right now, what season in life are you in? Feel free to share in the comments below. I'm pretty sure for most of us, especially us mothers, we are juggling a lot during different seasons. But this is a reminder to you and myself not to get so busy that you forget your focus, your assignment, or the lesson for the season that we're in. Me trying to balance motherhood, homemaking, and being a supportive wife has been very challenging, but I remind myself of the many rewards that come with it. I realize that in these hard seasons, that for my family and myself, it's been more difficult because we don't have that village that a lot of people have. So that's one reason it's more challenging for me right now in this season, because I'm dealing with all the feelings and emotions, but there's no time to stop, think, and process what I'm going through. And I'm hoping that as I've been trying to intentionally build my own village, that we would have the friends turned family that our hearts desire. I'm recognizing the changes of season I'm in, and I'm embracing every moment of it, because I know that time, it doesn't slow down, nor can we get any second back. And in a blink of an eye, all the kids will be grown and one day have their own families. Everything is only for a season, and even on the hard days, this too shall pass. Every season of life brings its own set of challenges and joys, but remember, we are never alone. John chapter 14 verse 16 says, "And I will ask the Father, and He will give you another helper to be with you forever." Thank you for spending time with me today. Please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I'd love to hear your experiences and any tips you have of navigating different seasons of life. Until next time, be blessed.